Good morning. Whoa, that's pretty powerful. Sorry about that. Welcome to Desert Palm UCC Church here in Tempe. Today, we're very fortunate to have Reverend Al Gephardt speak and do our sermon for us today and help lead our worship service. Tom will be out this Sunday and back next Sunday. I did want to just point out a couple of pertinent things as far as in our welcome for announcements, and that is the Desert Palm receives the Sow the Seed offering, and that's really important. We're receiving that today. It provides scholarships for youth to attend conference programs, and you may give online on the Desert Palm Church website or mail a check to the church, but the last day to donate is Friday, February 25th. So make sure you get your donations in to help support our youth through the Southwest Conference. Also, the Tempe Empty Bowls, Saturday, February 26th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Will be at the Tempe Library Courtyard if you want to go and help participate and support that wonderful ministry. And also just want to give a congratulations to our very own Ethel Utter, RN, now retired RN. And thanks to Ethel for all her input regarding Desert Palm protocols during the pandemic. Desert Palm wishes you and Kent happy trails ahead. So let's continue on with our worship service, and Claudia will now present our prelude. And again, good morning and welcome here, where all are welcome. For beauty is the cause of harmony, of sympathy, of community. Beauty unites all things and is the source of all things. It is the great creating cause which bestirs the world and holds all things in existence by the longing inside them to have beauty. Would you all join me in our opening hymn, number 31, All Things Bright and Beautiful.
All things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small, all things wise and wonderful, our dear God made them all. Each little flower that opens, each little bird that sings, God made their glowing colors and made their tiny wings. All things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small, all things wise and wonderful, our dear God made them all. The purple-headed mountain, the river running by, the sunset and the morning that brightens up the sky. All things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small, all things wise and wonderful, our dear God made them all. The cold wind in the winter, the pleasant summer sun, the ripe fruits in the garden, God made them every one. All things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small, all things wise and wonderful, our dear God made them all.
Our gospel reading today is from Luke chapter 12, verses 27 through 28 from the New Century Version. Consider how the flowers grow. They do not work or spin. Yet I tell you, not even Solomon in all his glory was clothed like one of these. And if this is how God clothes the wild grass, which is here today and tomorrow is tossed into the fire to heat the oven, how much more will he clothe you, you people of little faith? If you'd all join me in hymn number 28, For the Beauty of the Earth.
For the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the sky, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies, God of all, to you we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the wonder of for the good that love inspires, for a world where none exclude, for the faith that never tires,
Our second sacred reading this morning is from Philippians chapter 4, verses 8 through 9 from the Message. Summoning it all up, friends, I say you'll do best by filling your minds and meditating on things true, noble, reputable, authentic, compelling, gracious. The best, not the worst. The beautiful, not the ugly. Things to praise, not things to curse. Put into practice what you learned from me, what you heard and saw and realized. Do that, and God, who makes everything work together, will work you into his most excellent harmonies.
May the words of my mouth and the meditations of our hearts be pleasing to you, O God, our rock and our Redeemer. Well, someone long ago said, spring has sprung, and the grass has riz, and I wonder where the birdies is. Well, now, if you would come and visit the Gephardt house, you would begin to see some signs of springing. Walk down our driveway, and there's some yellow Gerber daisies reaching out to welcome you and to greet you. Go around the backyard, and there's some petunias and some ruella and some yellow bells doing their best to display their beauty. And then there's something new in our backyard. What Native American Robin Kimmerer, in her absolutely marvelous book called Braiding Sweetgrass, she refers to them as standing people, trees. And so there's a Cape honeysuckle that's been trimmed to be like a tree. And with its orange-red blossoms, it's reaching out to welcome hummingbirds to come for dinner. But then the grand dam of them all is the 20-foot desert willow tree that's in the middle of our front yard. Now, right now, it looks pretty much like the barrenness of winter. There's no flowers and no leaves, just bare limbs. But I tell you, in a week or two, it's if someone flipped a switch. Green buds will appear all over that tree, announcing that this once dead desert willow is very much alive. And the whole tree will be ablaze with purple orchid-like blossoms. Such is the will to life. Such is the call to beauty that is buried deep within its core. And if you want to know where the birdies is, then come join me some morning out on the patio for coffee. Now, you'll know it's spring because you haven't seen these friends for quite a while, but suddenly there they are. Quite a variety. Some passing on their way north, some locals beginning to build their nest in one of the backyard trees, and it's mating season, and there's going to be a lot of dancing and fluttering and chasing going on, observable to any of us who pause to notice. There's beauty all around us. Beauty. A friend of Betsy and me, Rebecca Parker, wrote a poem about winter solstice. And there's one line in particular in her poem that has always grabbed my attention. Stunned to stillness by beauty, we remember who we are and why we're here. Stunned to stillness by beauty. Have you ever been so overwhelmed by beauty that it took your breath away and stunned you to stillness? Now, I think Jesus must have had some moments like that, because one day he invites his disciples to pause and to set aside their cell phones and to take note of the surrounding wildflowers. And he comments about how easily they seem to grow and they don't work hard to make their clothes. And even wise King Solomon, with all of his regal glory, is not clothed, he said, like one of these little flowers. God elicits this kind of beauty from everything, Jesus notes, even though it may be here today and tomorrow it's thrown into a fire. God lavishes beauty on the world as a sign of God's incarnated presence. There's a choral piece that I find deeply moving because it has this repeating refrain. I'm sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty of the world with my own eyes. I'm sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty of the world with my own eyes. That's the challenge. Letting our memories sometimes stun us to stillness and help us to see the beauty. There's the beauty of nature. There's the beauty of a well-executed basketball play. There's the beauty of a small helicopter making its way around the surface of Mars. There's the beauty of compassion as a stranger reaches out to help someone in need. There's a mystery about beauty. It's beyond words and thoughts. It's first, I think, a deep feeling of wonder and awe that emanates from the depths of our being. It is as if we were made by beauty and for beauty. Some speak of beauty as another name of God. We speak of God as love. Could God also be beauty with a capital B? I remember visiting Cuernavaca in 1984, and in particular an area called La Estación, the station. And in this area at the time were 100 squatter families, 1,000 people, for which there were only 2 spigots of water, all living in this small area. Their dwellings were very humble, mostly one-room shacks. But regardless of all of that, I experienced beauty that day because we went up to one of those very humble shacks, and as we approached the front, there right next to the door, in a little holder beside the door, a little tiny glass, was a bouquet of tiny flowers. And I couldn't help but thinking in that moment that no matter what our station in life, what our means may be or not be, there is a need inside of us for beauty. We are made by beauty and for beauty. It's one of the great levelers that binds us all together, rich and poor. And to participate in beauty is to come into the presence of the sacred. People in the Middle Ages recognized beauty as one of the primary elements of life, and they talked about truth and goodness and beauty. And we Christians have focused a lot on truth and goodness, but not so much on beauty. We have failed to see how sterile truth and even goodness can be when they are divorced and not connected with beauty. Now, beauty is not all sweetness and light. Rather, it's an intensity of contrast. The complexity and the intensity of this contrast is what creates the depth of our experience. It's like dissonance in music and resolution. The bright, colorful sun seen over against the cloud-created shadows on the hillsides. The dark night of our souls felt in juxtaposition with the joy that comes and may come in the morning. The ugliness of war and ubiquitous gun violence contrasted by the beauty of courageous heroism. These are all stunned to stillness possibilities. Actively resisting hate and bigotry is an act of beauty. We not only experience beauty, but become ourselves with God, reflectors and co-creators of beauty. Mary Oliver, in her poem, When I Am Among the Trees, notes, "They call again. It's simple, they say. And you too have come into the world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light, and to shine." There's the beauty of the earth. Something deep within us calls us into a relationship with nature. And we feel that when we go for a walk in the woods or sit gazing at the movement and changing colors of the ocean. We are a part of nature. We were born out of the womb of nature. I remember as a child, our family's trip to the north woods of Wisconsin, the smell of the pine. First time ever for me, the beauty of the birch tree. You know the song. Land of the silver birch, home of the beaver, where still the mighty moose wanders at will. Blue lake and rocky shore, I will return once more. Boom, diddy, boom, 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 diddy, boom, 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 diddy, boom, boom, boom. It was a stunned to stillness experience for me in 1949. Tells you how old I am. And then as a teenager, I spent a month at a Young Life Ranch in Buena Vista, Colorado. A Chicago boy, I looked with awe at those 14,000-foot peaks that rose behind the ranch. And I went to sleep every night listening to the sound of a rushing mountain stream that ran not far from my bunkhouse. Can you recall some moments as a child when you were first captivated by the beauty of creation? We live in a beautiful state, and there are some times when I'm driving up to Payson and the road takes me through some of those rocky canyons, and I look up and I see the high, dark blue Arizona sky contrasted with those red and orange rocks. What beauty. Mary Oliver says, it doesn't have to be the blue iris. It could be weeds in a vacant lot or a few small stones. Just pay attention. Then patch a few words together. Don't try to make them elaborate, because this isn't a contest, but a doorway into thanks and a silence in which another voice may speak. beauty does that to us. It calls us into moments of thanksgiving and challenges us to live in gratitude. God of all, to use we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. Now there's the beauty of romance. Lord Byron wrote that she walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes. And Roberta Flack sings, "The first time ever I saw your face, I thought the sun rose in your eyes, and the moon and the stars were the gifts you gave to the dark and the endless skies, my love." And of course, we remember, all you need is love. Love is all you need. I just want to hold your hand. Most of us as children and young adults and parents have felt the wonder of just holding someone's hand, experiencing in that moment a sense of connection, a reassurance of relationship and companionship. And is this not also a moment of beauty? I'm sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty of the world with my own eyes. Of course, I have to mention the beauty of music. Sometimes scientists say that we can enjoy and respond to music even before we're able to speak. And there are those who, like Tony Bennett, have great difficulty now carrying on a normal conversation, but who are able to stand and remember lyrics and to sing them. I remember as a young child, maybe 4 or 5 years old, I would lie down next to the radio, put my ear up close to the speaker, and listen to the Firestone and Bell telephone hours, sharing the best in classical music. How do you explain the interest of a child in music like that? Where did that come from? Can it be that the lure for beauty lies deep in the soul of every single one of us? And then later, when LP records came out and we didn't have a record player, I would stop by Olson's music store in my town, and Mr. Olson would let me play whatever LPs I wanted to play. And then when I started to caddy and I got a little money, I would go from the golf course to Olson's store and I would buy some of those LPs, and I had 70 of them before we ever had a player on which to listen to them. And here's a secret, please don't tell anyone. I still have all of those LPs that I purchased in the 1950s. The beauty of music calls to us and we find ourselves responding. It embraces our whole person, our minds, our hearts, our bodies. It reaches into the depths of our being and connects with our soul. Just watch a jazz saxophone player close his eyes and journey deep within to say through his horn what he feels in his heart. It's Black History Month. How bereft would the world be without spirituals and blues, soul and rap and jazz? Listen to Billie Holiday singing Strange Fruit, and you will never be the same. Being mindful of such soul music can transform your life. One Saturday, I'm going to take a little water here. One Saturday night in the 80s, Betsy and I decided to go hear a Paul Simon concert. I had my sermon all done. And I felt like I could get away and enjoy a Saturday evening, which was not always the case. Simon had just come out with his CD, Graceland, and he was in Tacoma with his whole entourage of African musicians, including Lady Smith, Black Mambazo. The music began, and it didn't take much for many to get up and out of their seats, dancing in the aisles to lyrics like diamonds on the soles of her feet, of her shoes. Such joy. Betsy and I heard our song that night. I mean, you no doubt remember it. If you'll be my bodyguard, I can be your long-lost pal. I can call you Betsy, and Betsy, you can call me Al. At least that's the way I heard it. And there were all those black musicians, along with all those white musicians, making music together, sharing the diversity of their rhythms and melodies in a rich display of intense, contrasting harmony that transcended any notion of racial divide. I was so deeply moved that I went home afterwards, set aside that prepared sermon, and wrote a new one that I entitled, I Met Christ at a Paul Simon concert. The totality of that experience of beauty was a deep encounter with the source of all beauty, and I was transformed as I reflected on Simon's words, I have reason to believe we will all be received in Graceland. There is the beauty of compassion. I received a video recently from a friend who was born with dwarfism. And in the video, his granddaughter Mabel, who also has dwarfism, is playing with her friends. And as the children traverse the playground equipment, Mabel is having lots of trouble navigating. But her friends, without making a big deal about it, lend her a helping hand. It all seems quite natural. I'm sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty of the world with my own eyes. Our experience of beauty, whatever kind, is an encounter with God. Elizabeth Barrett Browning wrote, "Earth's crammed with heaven, and every common bush afire with God. But only he who sees takes off his shoes, and the rest sit around picking blackberries." We can come to know God for sure in the truth of Holy Scripture and in the revelation of love that we witness in Jesus. These sources can surely transform our lives. But I want to say we can also experience God in the natural world, in our walk in the forest, in the eyes of animals, in the mysteries of music, in acts of loving kindness, in the depths of our dreams, in the call for hope and for peace, in the silence of our own souls. These too are of God and can transform our lives. Our experience and moments and memories of such moments can help us, if we are mindful of them, to see further the beauty of the world with our own lives. So here is what I want to leave you with this morning. First, take time to notice. Be mindful of the beauty that is a part of your every single day. It is there, all around you, but often unnoticed. And second, when you experience beauty, recognize it as an encounter with God and a doorway into gratitude. God and creation have conspired to create a beautiful, wonderful world. And so may such moments inspire us to be grateful and thankful people. And last, listen for the call of beauty to you, for it beckons us to use our gifts to take care of this earth and all its creatures by living in a respectful, reciprocal relationship with creation. So take note of what moves your heart. Listen to what is deep in your own soul, and in your own way, become a co-creator of beauty with God. Perhaps as we renew our vision here at Desert Palm, we can imagine, among many other things, a variety of ways that together we can be a source of beauty in this community. St. John of the Cross wrote, "I did not have to ask my heart what it wanted. Because of all the desires I have ever known, just one did I cling to, for it was the essence of all desire, to know beauty." May it be. Amen.
Why do I feel discouraged? Why do the shadows come?
And why does my heart feel lonely and long for heaven and home?
When Jesus is my portion, a constant friend is He. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. So I sing because I'm happy, and I sing because I'm free.
Pastor Tom and I are going to be attending together next weekend. You'll be here Sunday morning. A workshop by John Philip Newell, who is an authority on Celtic spirituality and has written recently about his concern for the care of the earth. And so I'd like to close this morning with one of Newell's prayers and then a Celtic blessing. Here's the prayer. In the silence before time began, in the quiet of the womb, in the stillness of early morning, is your beauty, O God. At the heart of all creation, at the birth of every creature, at the center of each moment is your splendor. Rekindle in us the sparks of your beauty, that we may be part of the splendor of this moment. Rekindle in us the sparks of your beauty, O God, that we may be part of the blazing splendor that burns from the heart of this moment. The blessings of heaven, the blessings of earth, the blessings of sea and of sky, and those you love this day, and on every human family, the blessings of heaven, the blessings of earth, the blessings of sea and of sky.